The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host, Tyrone Thompson. Wait a minute. I still got an echo. What? I got an echo. I'm going to fix this shit tonight. Test. I don't know what the hell going on. If I mute this one, then what happens? Test. I don't know. Let me see. I know I should figure this stuff out. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on this. Test. It's still doing it. Hold on. Leave the shit the way it is. I'm sorry, y'all. And pardon my voice. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because I got too much shit open. Test. Whatever. I'm done with it. Look, y'all just have to deal with it. Because I'm sorry, I'm not a sound engineer or whatever. What's up, East Coast? And let me mute this.
Muted.
Test. I don't know.
Unmuted.
Let me try to mute. I don't know why the fuck I'm getting this echo. I know sometimes y'all say it's good and sometimes it's not, but I caught it tonight early. And I don't know. All right, anyway, welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is February the 19th, 2026. And if you want to call in to the show and join the conversation, all you have to do is call the number at 1-717-908-1834, and I will get you on the line here, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. But if you happen to be a sound engineer that's got an IQ that's point above mine, I would happy to accept the input on what the hell I got going on. I don't know, but I've been doing this for so many years, and the only thing I do is plug it in, turn it on. I don't do no tweaks or nothing like that, so I know The majority of the time it's been working fine, but here recently these echoes happen, and I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. YouTube said he ain't hear no echo, so maybe it's just me because I got two computers on, and that might be my issues. Let me close this and see what happened. Yeah, yeah, that's better. Okay, so but anyway, welcome to the show and happy Valentine's Day. Happy Black History Month. Um, hope you guys are taking time this month to recognize your ancestry and never forget where we come from because that's important. Even though we got a whole lot of stuff going on that's keeping our eye off the ball, we can't ever forget because we live in this racist ass country where we come from. And you know it's interesting because if we look at what's going on with the Trump administration, with the Epstein file, and all the violence with ICE and all of that kind of stuff, like I said before, these people, white America, has never changed. They've never changed. I know that we went through a time period where it looked like people had common sense and was trying to be respectable with one another in society, and then you would try to avoid the hard conversations about race in this country. I know, and the reason that I say that because I experienced it. I ain't never been able to shut my damn mouth, and especially when I got on uh, the YouTube or the radio or the Block Talk Radio, I expressed myself about race more than I ever had before. Um, and people would call in and tell me that I shouldn't be saying certain things, and it ain't all about race. Even last week, you had ABC call in and tell me that we need to take it away from the black and white. When Sarge calls in, he defends white people because of what I say about white America is the truth, but it's harmful to the idea of the way white people portray themselves and want the rest of America to portray them. And whenever you're talking about racism, all my life, all I heard was like once again, if y'all joining in, what's up, MJ? Pardon my voice. I know I sound kind of different. I don't know what's going on with me. I might be catching a cold. But all my life, um, I said HJ. Now you know I'm going blind, MJ. The H ain't nowhere near the goddamn M on this big ass keyboard. I got a keyboard with big ass fucking letters on it. But anyway, all my life, I have experienced racism in this country, and when I say all my life, is because I pay attention, and I have paid attention in society the way white people function and maneuver, and the way black people function and maneuver, and the way I get treated in certain conditions compared to um, somebody else, and it's easy to recognize um, when you first experiencing it. I guess it don't bother you so much, and then it does bother you a lot, and then it don't bother you so much no more, and then it's kind of like an ebb and flow when it gets on your nerves, and sometimes it don't. And that's just been a constant thing with me all my life whenever I notice racism in this country. And so with me being that way, I know that racism exists, but you got a whole society pushing back on you, telling you that it doesn't exist and we should live by the Bible and treat everybody fair and all that kind of bullshit. And that's just not the way life is. Those people is taking advantage of that type of mentality and use black people because of the way we think and how we just allow them to get away with everything and give them a pass and all that kind of shit. And I understand why we do that, but we do that, and they take advantage of it, and then they excel while we allow them to just take advantage of us. And you can look at that in a whole bunch of different ways. If you look at, I don't know what the hell to say about you. I kind of not say Israel or Jews because they programmed me not to. That's that's like the N word or whatever. But I've got to use this as an example. If you look at the Israel or the Jewish people and their Holocaust and how they handled their Holocaust, which was terrible. I'm not saying that it wasn't. But if you look at that community and how they handled this whole situation and have taken control of the narrative, and even got me on here tonight talking about, can I say Israel or can't I say Israel? How they taken control of the narrative so much so that they dictate what is and is not allowed whenever you talk about Jewish people, whenever you talk about Israel, whenever you talk about Zionism. They want to control everything that is said about them. And they're able to do that because they were able to use the Holocaust and play victimhood because of the Holocaust, and people had sympathy for that story. And they took advantage of that, and now you can't say anything about the Jews without being labeled an anti-Semitic. And I know y'all say, where the fuck is he going? What I'm trying to explain to you is black people have never taken control of the narrative in such a way that we have control of the narrative, right? Our line in the sand is somebody calling us a nigger. You can't call us a nigger. If you call a nigger, ain't no laws against it, but I'm going to whoop your ass. Or you might get fired from a job, or somebody might identify you as a racist, but that is as far as we go. There's no policies, there's no infrastructure, there's nothing built around the suffering of black people in the ways that the Jews have taken a whole entire motherfucking country based off of their suffering. And don't get me wrong, I know part of the narrative of the Jewish and Israel state, if you will, is embedded in the history of Jewish people in the Bible. That's the narrative that they're feeding the rest of the world. And this biblical narrative about the second coming of Christ or whatever, and that gives them more energy to be the way they are and dictate whatever narrative about the Jews that they want to and force it on other people. So if you just oppose that with black people, and we are as a community heavily religious, and if we was able to create a narrative based on biblical texts and oust people that treated black people wrong, we might have went down another path. it would have been a harder struggle because of the color of our skin, right? But what I'm saying is that we went through way more suffering than Jewish people did. Jewish people got everybody talking about the Holocaust as if it was only the Jewish people that the Nazis attacked. And you can Google it now. It was black people that suffered up under the Holocaust too, because the Aryans or Nazis or Hitler, they didn't like anybody else, no matter what you were. Even though the Jewish people are what they call them fuckers, Nazis, or they're white people. You know, that was a white on white issue with the Jewish people and the Nazis. But because of how racist and extreme the Nazis were, they just chose a group of people that they thought historically has caused problems and was like tainted or whatever, and they didn't want the Jewish people to fuck up the rest of the world, or whatever, and then they started killing them off in mass and all that kind of stuff, right? And even though that suffering was bad, it don't compare to chattel slavery. I don't give a fuck what the narrative is. You could call me anti-Semitic. You can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me, but it don't compare to chattel slavery. And I got instances right now sitting in my chat on my phone line all over the United States that proves that the Holocaust, and it's bad to compare these two, the Holocaust was not uh, worse than slavery. And it's simply, if you look at your goddamn last name in my chat and on this phone and all over the United States of America, the Jewish people didn't have their fucking name taken from them. Right? So that alone to me tells me that chattel slavery was much worse than what the Holocaust was on a longer spectrum. And the reason that I'm comparing them to, why do present day the Jewish people get to control and dictate what people say about them, label people anti-Semitic, and tell you what you can and cannot do, got given a fucking country, and then we as taxpayers are using our money to build up their country. And in 2026, black people won't have a thing but get upset when you call them nigger. Now, I'm not poo-pooing on my ancestors that put in the work for civil rights, and got us where we are today in this country, because it took some work. But at some point in time, people stopped fighting. And I'm not taking away from the groups out there that are still messaging on equality and justice, and I'm not taking away from those groups at all, but there's no forward momentum anymore in the black community. People don't listen to what we say. We got administration that is trying to remove Black History Month, and there's no pushback from what the Trump administration is doing when it comes to black people. We got a Supreme Court that is tearing down the success of our ancestors when it comes to civil rights, affirmative action. And I don't see the pushback in our community. There's no messaging put out there to rally us when these things happen. There should be a community-wide message to rally black people and tell us we need to move this way at the same time, because this is important, because your children is going to have less access and freedoms than you and your mother and your grandparents had. And that's important to maintain what they build up, over time. I know I'm just rambling, and I don't know how I got here, but it's Black History Month, and I thought that I'd share that with you. That's just the ramblings of a old man. Listen, I just had a birthday, and I just turned 59 years old, and I feel every damn minute of it. So on the 17th was my birthday, and I'm getting old, y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing this shit too much longer. I know y'all appreciate me coming on every Thursday, but goddamn, I've been doing this shit for a long time. But let's go ahead and get into some bullshit about the Donald Trump administration and these racist motherfuckers that is running this goddamn country. I know y'all been seeing the news about how Donald Trump and his administration is hiding all of this information about Jeffrey Epstein and the child sex trafficking, and no one is being held accountable for any of that stuff in America. And I asked myself, well, why in the hell, when all of this information is out there and we see the evidence with our own eyes, and because we are Black Americans, we know, or we have somewhat of an idea of what the laws in this country says, is basically if you break the fucking law, the justice system holds you accountable. So why isn't that going on when we seeing that these people slept with children, trafficked children, possibly cannibalized children, possibly killed children, when we see all of these crimes committed in the Epstein files, what the hell is going on to where when you read a name that participated with a pedophile and participated in underage sex, why in the hell isn't the justice system in America taking the next step, recording that name and putting that person in handcuffs and dragging them into court? Why isn't that happening when all of these crimes in that file has occurred? And why is the country so polarized where you have people like me saying what I'm saying about these people in that file, and then you have people on the other side that are not paying it that much attention? Why the fuck is the country like this? And I got a theory. And I alluded to it last week about how the Epstein class, or the rich people in this country, has been playing this psychological game on Americans people like Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein and college professors from Harvard and Yale has analyzed society and are telling the elite what to do and what to say to get away with whatever the fuck they want to. And Donald Trump is not smart, because what I'm saying I can prove to you with the actions of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is not smart enough to keep it under wraps. And I can give you an example right now. Y'all know how when Donald Trump just constantly repeats stuff even though it's wrong, he will say it over and over and over again. Now, I think that he's an asshole, and people might listen to him and say, okay, that motherfucker just slow. But there's a method behind that madness. Whenever you hear repetition, people start accepting the repeated language as being true. We know that Donald Trump did not win the 2020 election. But every time you hear Donald Trump speak, he tells everybody that he won the 2020 election. And people like me will never be convinced that he won the 2020 election, because I know how this fucking system works. I've been paying attention to it for a little while. But the fact that he constantly repeats that somebody stole the election and he won the election and the election was fraudulent, the more he repeats it, then you have arguments coming from somebody like Sarge, knowing that that's a fucking lie. But listen to this, look at the psychological operation that is going on here. You know it's a lie, and then you got somebody in authority just constantly pushing and repeating that lie. So after a while it becomes acceptable, and then you have his minions like Sarge and MAGA start questioning reality. That's just one example of what Donald Trump does. He does it constantly. Like right now, if Donald Trump get asked about the Epstein files, the first thing he's going to say is, I was exonerated from that file. We see Donald Trump naming that file over 1 million motherfucking times with our own fucking eyes. But because he's the person that's in charge and has the power, and it seems simple, but this is what's going on. I'm telling you what's going on. And he tells the world, tells reporters that I'm completely exonerated from the Epstein files. I'm not guilty of anything in the Epstein files. Regardless of what the facts is, you're going to have Sarge or ABC come on here and say Donald Trump is exonerated. So it works. Whatever this strategy is, I'm not a psychological major. I don't know anything about psychology, but I'm looking with my own eyes and watching examples of what I'm telling you here. And I'm using related events to show you that something is going on, to where somebody has sat down and actually planned the way people maneuver in this society to control masses of people, and it works. I'm just showing you a small part of what I think is going on. So Donald Trump is one tentacle, if you will, of what I'm talking about. But when you look at the media outlets that does the same thing, that constantly bombards society with lies, regardless of reality, then that gives it more validation. When you hear in the news outlets like Fox News and Newsmax and your YouTube right wing commentators constantly repeating these lies, then after a while, their audience is going to forget about the truth and start repeating the lies. This is part of the reason why I said I think I got an idea why they're not being held accountable. This is part of the reason that they're not being held accountable, because I'm talking about news organizations and people like Sarge and people on social media listening to these lies, but you also got other people in power that is convinced of these lies. People with the ability to control the outcome. Your police officers, your politicians. They believe these repeated lies, and it's part of this psychological operation that I'm giving you in this scenario that is controlling this society. Because I scratch my head all the time when I engage with people like ABC and Sarge and say, what the fuck is wrong with them? You can't be serious. But they fell for the bullshit. They fell for the bullshit. And a part of this, the main part, one of the main parts of this repeated pattern of repeating shit that is not true, is we heard it all the time about how they constantly demonize the left. They constantly demonize Democrats. They constantly tell lies about how satanic the left side is. That's part of the whole goddamn thing. So whenever you engage with these people, you only got one or two options. Either you on my side or you on the demonic side. So if you ain't on their side and you on the demonic side, they automatically X you out and forget about whatever the fuck you're talking about, because their reality is the propaganda that was fed to them through this psychological operation that the elite is clearly pulling off, because Donald Trump is in the White House and he's robbing his country blind in front of our faces. Donald Trump is in the White House and he's robbing us blind in broad daylight. I'm going to be like Umar. I'm going to say it one more time. Donald Trump is in the White House and he's robbing America blind. And I'm saying that because today I seen that he came up with this thing called the Peace Society or Peace Accord, or let me look it up. The Peace Panel or some bullshit. Peace Board of Peace. That's what it is. So y'all won't think I'm lying. I always got to pull shit up. I know I sound like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. Donald Trump is robbing the country blind. So there's the article from CNN that Donald Trump had his first Board of Peace meeting. And I really didn't dig down into it, but let's do that now. It said it had the hallmarks of political rally. Laura Branigan, Gloria blaring over speakers. Okay, I don't want to hear that. But the event in Washington, D.C. Thursday was meant to mark a major moment in the global governance. It was the inaugural board meeting of the Board of Peace, the organization chaired by President Donald Trump, that aimed to reconstruct and reshape Gaza after years of war. And it carried with it potential far-reaching implications on how the White House handles international conflicts and who gets called and who calls the shot. The lengthy remarks of President announced the nation had a pledge of more than $7 billion to Gaza relief. And a handful of countries would commit troops to be sent there. Trump also, it's going to say the part right here that I'm telling you why he's robbing you blind. Trump also said the United States will contribute $10 billion to the Board of Peace. That's the part that I wanted to get to. Because I heard him say it, and I'm just now reading the article. Just think about what I just said. Trump created the Board of Peace, right? And he is the chair of the Board of Peace while being also the president of the United States of America that just committed from the United States of America $10 billion to his organization, the Board of Peace. He is robbing us right in front of our fucking eyes. Now, all of that other stuff with crypto and him selling stuff and all that, he's still robbing us, and I've been saying this, but this is blatant fucking goddamn robbery. And like I said, the elites are playing a psychological game on the goddamn nation to where he could do shit like this in front of our fucking eyes and nobody says a goddamn thing. Nobody says shit. Because Donald Trump doesn't, where you think he's going to get the goddamn money from? Where do you think he's going to get the money from? He just told you. Trump also said the United States will contribute $10 billion. He didn't say no 2 million or whatever the fuck, $10 billion to the Board of Peace. And what the fuck is the Board of Peace? I don't even know who's in this bitch. Hold on for a second. It says, as of February 26th, the Board of Peace is an international initiative led by President Donald Trump designed to facilitate regional stability, initial focused on rebuilding Gaza and mediating conflict. The board has held its inaugural meeting on February the 19th, which is the day. It includes 20 to 30 founding member nations, featuring a mix of Arab, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Jordan, along with Turkey, Pakistan, Argentina, Hungary, and Israel. What the fuck? Oh, it says it down here, I think. It said the initiative has faced scrutiny for potentially operating outside of traditional international law framework and particularly undermining the UN. See, that's what I was getting around to, is that we already have the fucking UN. Right? We already have the UN. But Donald Trump don't like the UN. Well, for one, he can't control it like he wants to. And for two, whenever those nations give the UN money, that money has a purpose. Now, I don't know about the inner workings of the UN and what they do with their finances, but members contribute to the UN, and that money has a purpose, and Donald Trump can't control it. But now he just muddled together, I guess, 20 to 30 founding member nations. And just like I said, it's Donald Trump's Board of Peace, just like he just committed $10 billion to the Board of Peace or to himself when these other nations pay the Board of Peace. Who getting the motherfucking money? Donald Trump is robbing us right in front of our fucking eyes. And I don't know what the fuck Congress can do about it. Maybe they can sue him. But either way, if it, I don't know, because this is, I'm thinking the Board of Peace is an illegal move. It probably is. He don't give a fuck. But it probably is an illegal move. Jesus. Well, I can't get a direct answer from Google because Trump owns the government. So Google is saying that it is sanctioned by the UN Security Council. I guess that would give it validation. But the UN Security Council is owned by Donald Trump, so yeah, he owns this whole goddamn system, and there is no checks and balances on his power. Because like what we just discussed, this man is robbing us blind right in front of our face. And I don't know what is it meant by it's going to reconstruct and reshape Gaza, right? And Israel is a member of the Board of Peace with no representation by the Palestinians. So what that's telling me is that I might live through a time period where I see the complete genocide of a society. Because the Palestinians, I mean, where do they fit in all of this? They're not they're not even included in this thing. And then not only that, I heard Donald Trump mention going to war with Iran. And I don't know the inner workings of that. Because I get tired of watching this motherfucker. But I did see this Board of Peace shit, and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And it just so happened that I seen the clip where he said the United States is going to commit $10 billion to the Board of Peace. And I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't watch the rest of it, but I seen that goddamn part. And I'm like, that's some bullshit, you know? And then this CNN article just validate what I was thinking about him being a fucking thief and stealing the goddamn money. But here's my point. Is Donald Trump can do things like that because he's primed society to accept his corrupt behavior by constantly dividing the country and pulling one side to his side. He don't need the whole country to agree with him. He knows that he needs his political party to agree with him. And then if that doesn't work, because they always, this shit is so complicated. If that doesn't work where the political party doesn't agree with him, he know that he needs evangelicals to agree with him. And if that doesn't work to where the evangelicals don't agree with him, his last step is that he needs racist white America to agree with him. And there he never falls short. So if he got racist white America on his side and Coons, then he's always going to have a backing. You see how I went from the political and took it out of politics and went into the damn religion. Donald Trump ain't crazy, and then went into racism because Donald Trump has got all three of these groups and more backing him. And that's all he need. He know racist white America will get online and they'll tweet, they'll call people, they will threaten people, they will go to the polls. Racist white America will do whatever it takes to make sure that their white savior is taken care of. And another thing that these see, it all goes together. I know it's a big old fucking spider web, but my mind be going to 10,000 miles an hour. Another thing that this type of psychological operation has done, right? I want you to think about the manosphere. I want you to think about red pill. And black people are just a victim of fucking the white manosphere, but they're stupid for following that shit. But the white manosphere has desensitized the male, the man, to anything that women go through. They have relegated the woman's position back down to being submissive, listen to what the man say, stay in the kitchen for years, right? And when we were watching the Manosphere, we were like, what the fuck is wrong with these guys? What is wrong with them, right? Why are they, it's part of this goddamn psychological bullshit that I'm talking about here. And now we see that when you have women getting shot in the goddamn street and little girls getting sexually abused on an island, those men don't give a fuck. When normally, before all of this book motherfucking Trump Epstein era, you would have white men running out with their flags trying to protect their women and all this kind of bullshit, right? They don't give a shit no more because they've been desensitized through this manosphere psychological operation to not give a fuck about women no more. That's part of the reason why people ain't raising hell about these little girls that was abused on Jeffrey Epstein Island. The manosphere and red pill has got these men not giving a shit about women anymore. I've seen some people arguing that the women from Jeffrey Epstein Island didn't complain until they became adults. And, you know, you hear some things and you sit there and you got to scratch your head and be like, what is your point? But their point is, because they waited so long to say anything, it really wasn't that important. You know, and I'm thinking this motherfucker is a moron, because of course it's a grown up complaining now, but at the time when these things happened, they were children. But that's just me. And to them that makes perfect sense, but they have been desensitized to care about goddamn women, because this manosphere taught them that women were evil because they can't get a date, or women reject them, or whatever they're angry about. Their women have been too sexualized, or whatever the manosphere told them. So now that you know, real female victims are out there and they're sharing their experiences, these guys don't give a shit about those little girls that was on Jeffrey Epstein Island. And like I said, all of this is my theory, but you know, it starts from some goddamn where. And when I look at the lack of concern in America for sex trafficking and these girls that was on that island, I'm like, where the fuck this shit come from? Why ain't nobody saying anything? Why ain't nobody in handcuffs? It's because there was a psychological operation that these elite people is using on this country, and it's causing people to be more extreme when it comes to things like red pill, when it comes to things like their support for Donald Trump, to be more extreme in racism, to discount fellow Americans, to not mind. You can use the migrant thing as another example of this repeated messaging in America to desensitize people from other humans. You can go back and think how many years we've heard that the migrants are taking our jobs, and the migrants are taking black people jobs, and the migrants are doing this, and the migrants are taking the food stamps, and the migrants are living in housing, and the migrants are whatever, right? So now that you see a migrant getting stuffed in a fucking concentration camp, you don't give a shit. You hear about some of the horrific, inhumane conditions that the Donald Trump administration has created in these Nazi-like concentration camps, and sticking migrants and some Americans in these concentration camps. People are desensitized to that stuff. They don't care. So I'm not giving Trump credit for any of that propaganda or any of that the psychological thing that's been played on America. But he has an important piece to play when it comes to manipulating America, without a doubt. without a doubt. Donald Trump has an important piece when it comes to everything that I'm talking about here. But there's somebody behind Donald Trump guiding all of these things. So you go back to the Epstein list and you look at all the prominent names that are in those files. It's not nobody like a school teacher. It ain't nobody. It ain't no construction worker. It ain't no blue collar worker, right? When you look at the names in those files, you have the top 1% entirely the people that this type of manipulation would affect, right? You got world leaders that are in the files. So when I say there's a psychological operation going on, it's those elite 1%, a small percentage of people that is controlling the masses. And I mean, if you guys ain't paying attention to these files reveal a lot about these people. Last week I was touching on cannibalism and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is important. But like I said, that I just seen people reporting on it. I didn't go and dig it up myself. I just seen what they showed on the files when it comes to jerky and names that's out of place in the files that could be referring to human victims. But what I'm telling you now, besides the cannibalism, is that Donald Trump is compromised. Donald Trump is being manipulated, and he's playing the American people Donald Trump is an anti-constitutional, usurp, illegal president that was put in place to do just what we're seeing right now. And he's got all fucking goddamn pistons firing because they're not bullshitting. He know that it is possible for him not to be able to control the outcome of the next election. So he's firing on all pistons now, and he's going to do everything right away. And that's where you see this border peace. That's why you see him bombing boats in the Venezuelan waters. That's why you see him militarize troops and put them on the streets of America. That's why you see him murdering people in this country and not holding the murderers accountable. They're firing on all cylinders. That's why you see him ripping down black history in this country. That's why there is no African American representation in his staff, in his administration. In every area that you can think about corruption, that's why you see him, like I said, blatantly stealing money from the American people, violating the Emoluments Clause, His family is making money off the government. He's firing on all cylinders, and there is no slowing this man down or his agenda. Whenever you know that Donald Trump, let me pull this up because I don't know if this file is in the Epstein file or not. Where the hell is it at? Let me see if I can get it on the screen for y'all. But whenever you see Donald Trump being able to be in the Epstein files, doing some of the things that people say he did, doing some of the things that people say he did, and him not being held accountable, he's going to continue to not give a fuck about this country. And I'm saying all of this to say that this is nobody's fault but white America. I want to emphasize that throughout history, when white people come together and make decisions, they fuck up societies. You hear the white man talking about he should be credited for creating all of these things and civilized. Said, no, the fuck you shouldn't. Especially not in this goddamn country. If it weren't for black people, this country would still be barbaric. If it weren't for black people, we would still have slavery. If it weren't for black people, you'll still be living in the caves in Europe. That's a fact. But I showed y'all this before, and there's the case number of Jane Doe versus Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. These are the kind of things that are on document of Donald Trump committing. This was 2016 it was filed. And this category down here says rape, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual act, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional distress, duress, and false imprisonment. This is your president. This is who you voted for. It says plaintiff was subject to acts of rape, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual act, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, battery, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional duress, false imprisonment, and threats of death or serious bodily injury by the defendants, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, that took place at several parties during the summer of 1994. The parties were held by the defendant Epstein at a New York residence that was being used by the defendant Epstein at 9 East 71st Street in Manhattan. During this period, the plaintiff, a minor of age 13, this is your president, and was legally incapable under New York law of consenting to sexual intercourse and other sexual contacts detailed herein. And there's the law that they violated. The rapes in the first and second degree and sexual misconduct and criminal sexual acts of the first and second degree and third degrees, sexual abuse in the first and second and third degrees, and forcible touching, and the belief to predatory sexual. Okay, I ain't gonna read all that. Where I want to get to? I want to get to the crazy stuff that they was doing. The plaintiff was enticed by promises of money and modeling career to attend a series of parties with other similarly situated minor females. So right here again, you got them soliciting 13-year-olds, promise them money. They're the elite. They have the money to throw around to 13-year-olds and entice them. This is your president. At least 4 parties were attended by the defendant Trump, Exhibit A and B, on information and belief that by this time in 1994, the defendant Trump had known the defendant Epstein for 7 years. I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. That's what he said about Epstein. Defendant Trump initiated sexual contact with the plaintiff at 4 different parties. On the 4th and final sexual contact, Defendant Trump tied the plaintiff to a bed. We're talking about a 13-year-old. Exposed himself to the plaintiff. Then proceeded to forcibly. I've been saying that word all night, but y'all see what it says. I know that. And let me say all of this is alleged, because I just be talking and not be worried about the guidelines. So I apologize if I've been saying the wrong thing on YouTube. But y'all see what it says. And forcibly abused the plaintiff. During the course of this savage sexual attack, the plaintiff loudly pleaded with the defendant Trump to stop, with no effect. Defendant Trump responded to the plaintiff by violently striking the plaintiff in the face with his open hands. This is the person that ABC and Sarge and MAGA and the entire Republican Party put in office. And then after this event, immediately following this event, Trump threatened the plaintiff that were she ever to reveal any details, immediately following this event, Trump threatened the plaintiff if she were ever to tell the details about this abuse, the plaintiff and her family would be physically harmed, if not killed. So it goes on and on and on and describe more events. But I just wanted to touch on that first one to show y'all who the hell we're talking about here. Once again, there's the case number. You can Google it yourself. Case number 116CV07673. Filed in 2016. This is who we're dealing with. And for some reason, they let this immoral, unethical, uncivilized piece of shit in the White House. So it shouldn't be surprising that he's robbing us blind. that he's lying, extorting people, being extorting, murdering people, allegedly, at the hands of his ICE Gestapo agents. It shouldn't be surprises under his first administration, when hundreds of thousands of people were killed or died up under COVID, that he didn't give a fuck, allegedly. It shouldn't be surprising that this racist motherfucker in the White House, who ran his first campaign off of calling Mexicans drug dealers and questioning Barack Obama's birth certificate and having a history of putting out a full-page ad about the Central Park 5, some black and Latino kids that was exonerated. It shouldn't be surprising that this immoral, corrupt piece of shit is doing exactly what I said white savages do. It shouldn't be surprised because it's in their nature. It's in their DNA to act exactly like Donald Trump is doing. You know, I think about how black people say, you know thyself, right? And don't forget who you are. Know where you come from. And a lot of times black people embrace that ideology. And I get that. Hell, I embrace it, right? But if you flip that on his head and look at these savages telling themselves the same damn thing, know thyself. Thyself is a fucking savage. Thyself caused every motherfucking major war on the planet. Thyself had internment camps and concentration camps in Germany that burned Jews in fucking gas ovens, or killed Jews in gas ovens. Thyself led off the fucking transatlantic slave trade, right? That's them knowing thyself. Don't forget where you came from. That's what we say in our community, trying to give credit to our ancestors, because without them, we would not be here. But look at the ancestors of that savage. The ancestors of that savage were cannibalizing my people in this goddamn country during slavery. The ancestors of that savage has a history of lynching black people. The ancestors of that savage has a history of creating a prison system where he's constantly keeping my race locked the fuck up. The ancestor of that savage dropped a nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The ancestor of that savage was chopping people heads off with guillotines during the time of the monarchy. That's who the fuck they are, historically. So it's not surprising that whenever Donald Trump gets into office, he conducts himself the same way his ancestors conducted themselves. It's not surprising whatsoever. Donald Trump administration, it lies, it steals, it extorts people and it kills people. It violates the Constitution. It violates the rights of Americans. This is the most corrupt administration in American history, and that's something coming from me when I'm including the time period of slavery in there. America has never seen a piece of shit like Donald Trump. And the reason that he's allowed to stay there is because white America is embracing their DNA. Like I said, Donald Trump participated in every bit of that savagery on Jeffrey Epstein Island. Donald Trump is all over those goddamn files. And white America is sitting on their fucking hands. Not doing a. You put him in there. It's your job to get rid of him. You put him in there. Now I'm starting to believe that white America is enjoying this, right? It seems to me that they don't have a problem with the savage behavior of Donald Trump. That's what it seems like to me. Seems like to me they want more and more of it. Oh shit, I've been talking for a while. Look, I'm gonna shut the hell up. Let me see who's on this line. If anybody, hold on. I just been running off my mouth. I'm sorry. But look, if y'all want to call in, y'all can call in to the number at 717-908-1834, and I'll open your line and get you on the line, and y'all can say whatever you want to say. But yeah, just to wrap things up with what I'm saying here is that, like Mandela Khan used to say, ain't nothing new up under the sun. You know, there's nothing new up under the sun. This has been going on. It's just surprising to us because we thought that we was progressing as a country, and all of a sudden we see all of this. And I didn't mention Jesse Jackson. I know recently Jesse Jackson got a bad rep in the black community. I think that maybe black people shouldn't be so harsh on Jesse Jackson. I understand Jesse Jackson was Jesse Jackson, but we can't take away from the contributions that he put forward for the black community either. So I don't want the bad to outweigh the good when it comes to Jesse Jackson. A lot of our black leaders are in that same predicament to where they're in this system. And white supremacy has taken control of their mentality. And they lost their way. And you got to know that that's a part of being in this system. Some people might end up like that, right? Look at ABC and Sorry, they gone. But no, Jesse Jackson, rest in peace. I don't want to, I don't do that when people pass away. And one more thing, I seen that Umar Johnson said he's gonna open his school. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But unknown caller and Miss Elise, I got your lines open. Y'all there?
Hi, yes, Tyrone. This is Miss Lady, and this is something I wanted to bring up with you. All Facts came back to TRS, and initially he was cool and funny, but he's gotten progressively really disrespectful and very rude, barging in, yelling, cursing, getting sexually vulgar, just attacking. And he comes on the show that Miss Nobody hosts, and she opens up the show like during the week, other than Thursday and Saturday. And he was just atrocious. the other evening, just atrocious. And so I would like you to address that. And I told him I was going to inform you, and because he was off the chain,
Hmm.
just bad.
Uh,
And so I would like you to address that with him, because he's just over the past week he's just gotten worse and worse and worse.
well, Miss Lady, um, I try to explain to everybody that those shows that they do during the week, I don't have any control over, and I think ABC invited All Facts back over here. At one point in time, All Facts was gone for good, and I really hate that he's back up to his old ways. But
I mean, worse than what he was before,
mm,
like way worse. Is there any way you could speak with nobody to have her censor that some, because she has control over the mute button, and he's just, he just goes on and on and on, and so basically people end up hanging up. And so what's happening is, because I'm not interested in having a conversation and listening to him ramble on and being disrespectful, and it's going to end up with just a few people calling in,
mm-hmm. Well, I
um,
hate to hear that.
because
I really do.
because of him. So if there's any way you could speak with nobody about that
Well,
and
she's
have
listening
him,
on the line. She don't really participate, but she's listening. I'm pretty sure she's hearing our conversation. So I'll say to her now, if she's listening, that if she can just cut him off or hang up on him or whatever.
yeah, he was bad with me, with Sister Ottawa, with Anthony. It's like he's just taking over the show.
Hmm. Well, see, and that's kind of why, in a way, that I kind of push this platform away from everybody because of trolls like that. Um, because it was getting out of hand one time. We had just had people just constantly interrupting everybody calling in. That's why I pushed away from him because of the way he conducts himself. And I don't know, Miss Lady. I apologize for you guys that's going through that with him. Um, I don't know, but hopefully, Sister Nobody listen. And if he does call in, I hope she just cuts him off. Cause
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's respectful, but when it gets to he starts blurting off, and then he has a habit of telling people what they think, who they are, and he lies. He out not lies on. Well, he's lied on me, just
mm-hmm.
sitting up on the phone line, and it just makes no sense.
Well, trust me, I know exactly what you're going through. That's why I had to. I couldn't no more
I
with that guy.
I don't remember him being this bad. He's like a lot worse, well, as far as I know. And I think Sister Ottawa will also co-sign to that. Um, he just comes across as a very miserable person who wants other people who aren't miserable to be miserable. You know, if you have a higher energy level, you vibrating higher. You're speaking with respect and so forth, and you got a lightness in your voice. It's like it's time to. It's like, boy, please. It's like people are so miserable and unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just it seems like that's my feeling, and that he wants to make everybody else unhappy and miserable. And I told him, you're not going to, and even Anthony said, you're not. He told him, you miserable dude. I mean, it's obvious, and it's like you're not going to stop my peace and stop my joy.
But I really
So
hate
that's,
that. I thought everybody was
Hey,
able
good
to.
evening.
Hey, what's up, Sister Ottawa? How you doing? At least I got your line
I'm
open.
good. I'm good.
But go ahead, Sister Ottawa.
hi,
I
Sister
yes,
Robin.
I hey, Miss Lady, I just definitely wanted to co-sign what she's saying because the programming has really changed a lot. Um, Tyrone. I thought I didn't know that you don't listen. I
No.
thought you did listen. And the show had been going on since COVID. It's been operating very well. We had East Coast and Brother JNYC. I don't know all the particulars about how you run things or nothing, but I can tell you that from COVID up until the time you brought Miss Nobody on, we had programming every night. We had cogent conversations. We didn't deal with a lot of disrespect. I mean, Sarge come on, we get into our arguments and whatnot. That you know, I guess is a given in terms of the spirit of the people, but um, it has just it's not a good thing, And the host, nobody, she kind of, you know, egg Allfax on. She just gives him the way to just do what he wants and say what he wants to. She uses her mute button. She was doing a lot of things, blocking where you couldn't call back in. Um, so I don't know. It has the energy has changed a lot. So that's just my input there.
Well, I appreciate y'all sharing, and I really hate that y'all going through that. But like I said, I don't even this is the only time I come on, and it's like a free number that people dial. Y'all know that, and I ain't got no control over it.
Oh, I thought you
But
did have
but we didn't
control
have
over
all
it.
that when JNYC was
No.
opening up the show. We didn't have that,
Well, that's
and
because people wasn't
so
calling in, and like I said, I believe ABC invited All Facts to his show a couple of times, so I guess All Facts started calling back in, you know, which is a
well,
bad
I
thing.
thought you had.
You said that people want.
I blocked him at one time from calling in.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we're asking if you could please intervene, even though you don't call in the shows, because if the show's going to die out, it's going to end up. Cause I'm not going to be calling in to listen. As soon as I open up my mouth, he starts attacking and yelling and cursing and lying, and so I'm not going to listen to that. And so basically the show's going to be very few people calling in on those days, and it's really unfortunate to have one person destroy the show for other people. The one who's the most inappropriate and disrespectful is destroying it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna blame ABC. Everything was going good, so ABC, if you're in the chat room, you need to fix it. You need to fix it.
And he was co-signing to all facts. He was being so rude to ABC. Oh, he really whipped Miss Lady's ass. He really whipped. And I told him to go on to his downtrodden wife, okay? Because, uh, you know, it's, what's wrong with these folks? Something's wrong with them.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
And I'm like,
they don't like to see everybody else having peace. You know
a
what I
good
mean?
time, yeah, yeah. Speaking respectfully and having a good conversation. It's almost like they want to just destroy the good conversation. There's nothing to be gained for them from them. ABC's been spouting the same old stupid propaganda year after year on his Saturday show. So why would he even call in to just be ridiculous and immature and co-sign on to all facts craziness?
I don't know.
It just makes
So this is. I just want to ask one question,
Uh huh.
and then so I have clarity. I thought that this conference call was connected to you, Tyrone. I didn't know that it was just a line that people just call into. I thought it was connected to you and TRS. And so
No,
you're saying that that's not the case.
it's not. It's called free conference call, and I use this as a switchboard for when people want to call in. So remember when I was back on Blog Talk Radio, that switchboard I had to pay for. So I found this thing that was free, so I can do the same function with take phone calls and put it on YouTube, but it's just like a free conference. Yeah, anybody can call into it. That's got the access code.
Okay. Then. All
But
right.
who
Okay.
who
Then.
Well,
gets
see,
the
that's
how
the
does
thing.
how
Oh, I put the
can
access
I ask
code.
you
Yeah, I put the access code
who?
on YouTube, so he probably got it that way.
But then how does somebody get control of the show where they can mute people? Can
Well, you got to
anybody?
log
Can we
in.
do
You got to
that?
log in, and right now, me, ABC, and Sister Nobody is the only ones with the passwords.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay,
But
okay. I
if
got.
none of the hosts don't log in, you can still call the board, and the lines are open up when more than two people get on. So
Oh yeah, because I remember Jay. He would be on there, and I thought he was hosting a lot in the past,
Yeah.
and yeah, he
We
couldn't
always
mute.
opened up,
yeah,
Yeah, I
and
could.
we had
Okay.
more people calling in than we do now. So I don't know
Yeah,
about
very people aren't calling in like they were. And I'm gonna stop because I'm not gonna listen to all facts craziness and it's disrespect. It's just nothing to be gained from that.
well, I don't blame
It's
you.
just,
I mean, I had to cut ties over there because I couldn't do it no more. I couldn't put up with the craziness.
so it'll be ABC, nobody, and for the most part, and all facts. That's what's gonna happen. And then maybe Anthony might try and get a word in every now and then, but they shut him down and try and bully him. And I had to speak up for him the other night. Um, and that's pretty much it. Oh, Mama's boy might call in and say a few things, and Howard might call in for a minute,
Hmm.
and that's just what's going to be the show.
Well, like I said,
Well, I guess
go ahead.
because I don't really call in too much to Saturday shows because there's nothing to be learned from that or gained from that. Every now and then I might, say a few things and then back out. But I don't usually call in on Saturday. I call in usually on Thursdays, and I was calling in, and everything was cool until all. You know what? All facts started going off. It seems to me when I talked about some K-pop group that I liked,
Hmm.
and I got a ticket. I paid way too much for. They're doing a big world tour, and um, folks asked me how much I paid for the ticket, this and that. And I played a K-pop song, and after that, it just seemed like he lost his marbles. He was having a meltdown a week ago, talking about I can't stand that shit. I can't stand it. And shit them Asians and blah blah blah. And I remember she said she dated Asian men. She likes Asian men. And oh, I mean, it just don't make it. He just had lost it. And he went on and on and on. And I'm dumb. I'm ignorant. I'm mental. I'm all everything. Okay, everything back. I'm stupid. I'm not everything bad. And I love Asian men, and I date Asian men, and I just can't stand this and that shit. And I don't want to hear about it. And I mean, it's like, and then Sarge came on, surprisingly, and said, "What is the point of all that?
Hmm.
What is your point?"
Well, it's pretty
And if
bad
she
if Sarge
does,
got
if
to
she
calm you down.
doesn't, what is it to you?
It's pretty bad if Sarge got to calm you down. He must.
He had to calm it down, and he says, and he talked about somebody. I guess he knew that he had a lot of respect for an Asian artist that he really liked, and so it's like, what is it to you? Now, I've never said I dated Asian men before in my life, but all facts keeps harping that out, keep stating that like it's fact. But I've never said that. And so it just goes on and on and on. It's like he just he gets upset. I said, "You sound obsessed."
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand exactly how y'all saying he act, because that's just the way he was. But like I said, that's why I just allocated this one night right here, because I really don't have the time like I used to be on here
What
like that.
you up to these days? You busy, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
honestly,
that's good.
I'm just doing. I pull myself away from social media because
That's
you can
good.
spend a lot of time on here, and you know,
Well, I'm gonna spend my time doing something else instead of listening to all facts foolishness. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be done with that because and if nothing can be done about it, if he's gonna be able allowed to continue, there's no sense in listening to any of that.
yeah, I really hate that though, because I thought that he was done with TRS. I thought he was done,
Because
and
I told him I was going to let you know and hopefully get him kicked off the show. But I guess that's not going to happen. So
well,
just have to move on.
the only thing that would cause me to do is have to be on here like when y'all on here and monitor it all the time, and like I said, I ain't got that time like that no more.
Well, could you stress to nobody that all of that yelling and screaming and disrespect and vulgar language should not be allowed?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she could
yeah.
let him know, and she could mute him
Mhm.
when he starts.
Okay, okay.
Because it's really unfair to everybody else. Nobody wants to hear that, listen to that. Maybe ABC does, and he gets a kick out of the disrespect. But he has no respect for women anyway.
Well,
Not
that's
really.
the thing is, I mean, I get it when there was a time on here when people used to do that, but it's a certain maturity level. I used to get a kick out of fussing with everybody on here, but I don't know. I think I done grew out of that stuff. It used to be fun, but I guess people still do the
I
same.
mean, fussing and that kind of stuff is like it can be fun if it's at a certain. But when it gets to gutter,
Yeah,
and he's talking about uh, pussy and this and that and blah blah and all that kind of bull, nobody want to hear that kind of gutter stuff and all that cursing and carrying on and attacking folks. Nobody wants. That's not fun. It's annoying.
well, I feel you.
It's like I told him, like, you need sound like you need some counseling. You need some psychologist. You need maybe I don't know substance abuse counselor. I don't know. Something's wrong for a grown man to get on the line and act like that.
All right, so like I said, nobody's listening, so maybe maybe she'll try to take control of it, or ABC won't allow him to do what he been doing. I mean, cause I don't know. It's just that's too
I mean,
terrible.
ABC. He can be on ABC show. I don't care because I don't call in the ABC show very rarely, and so I don't really care. So he can call in the ABC. Does he call into your show? He doesn't call into yours.
Who? All facts?
Mhm.
No, 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 no. I discommunicated. I cut ties. I didn't want to fuck with that guy ever again, and I let him know that. So that's why he ain't messing with me no more. We parted ways.
Well, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, well, at least one night a week, your night is cool,
yeah.
and that's cool. Uh-huh.
Let me see who this other caller is.
Okay.
Who is this?
Yeah, hey Tyrone. Hey Tyrone, how are you?
All right. And Lisa, now if you can cut in anytime you want to, but go ahead, Joe.
No, I think she brings up an interesting topic about how social media has evolved, because you've been in it a long time. All of us have kind of been in it a long time. We've seen it come from one thing into another thing. Don't you think it's about the time where your vision of TRS can really start to flourish now? Because we're past a lot of that, you know, silly content.
Well, Joe, I agree with you, but that's why I'm in this pocket over here. And then, like I just explained to him, explained to them, is the way free conference work is I can't block nobody from calling in there when there's not a show. You understand? So no matter
Well,
what
I
I
got
say,
that, but I'm just saying overall, yeah,
if I say
yeah.
don't call, people can still call this number, and get on the conference. So they nothing I can do about it, you know. But the only time that a host is on here, they can control it. But a host don't have to be present every time whenever y'all on the line. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you, but I'm just saying overall, I'm not going to get into that fight, but I mean, well, anyway, but I'm just saying overall, don't you think it's time that social media has matured enough where you can put your vision of what TRS that you originally had into play now?
Well, yeah, it could, but what you're looking at is the results, Joe. What this thing on Thursday night that I set aside time for? This is all I got, brother. There ain't nothing else I can do, and if I can maintain civility over here, and with this little 3 hours that I got, then that's all I can do. I can tell people not to act up during the week, but what the hell good is that gonna do? You know what I mean? Especially when you're talking about somebody, especially when
Yeah.
you're talking about somebody like Alfax. Alfax is Miss Lady just described him perfectly how frantic and out of control he is. I can't control that guy.
Well, already know he's done whole hours about me. I don't really get involved in all that mess. I just ignore it because he is who he is. But I'm just saying overall, you know, um, social media has matured. I mean, when you think about all the years that have gone by and all the stuff you've gone through, I think social media has matured to the point where it can really live up to the promise that it had back then. I think that, you know, the whole concept of trolling and all that kind of had its course, even though there's
Yeah.
still people that do it and all that. Well, that's them. But I think that we're at a stage now where it can really fulfill the vision that it once had.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Because back in BTR, when the trolls were really bad, and then we came to U2, and it was still trolling, and that's kind of why I was trying to explain to them. That's why I kind of pulled myself in this little pocket over here, just for that type of activity there. To be honest with you, because the more eyes we got over here on TRS, the more trolling it was. That's just the way it was. So long as I pull back and keep pulling back, the trolls would disappear. And that's why we're like this now, because I know that with an expansion or a bigger audience, then you're gonna have people like that show up constantly. You get what I'm saying?
I kind of disagree on that. I think, like I said, I think social media has evolved, and there's always going to be that little element, but it's not going to be anywhere near like it used to be. I don't think. And maybe I'm just Pollyanna about this, but I think that at this stage, 2026, it's starting to fulfill the promise it had.
Well, yeah. I mean, in a lot of cases, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But but I got burnt, man. I really did. I got burnt out to argue with people and telling people, not to call women the B word and all this kind of stuff. And then they would come on here with, why ain't you correcting her? And all this kind of shit. I ain't got no time to be arguing about that shit. It's and I really hate that when the show ain't going on and people are using this platform for like East Coast and Miss Lady or Sister Ottawa. I really hate that that's getting interrupted by a damn troll. That just sucks to me.
Oh
Whew.
yeah, it's just a thought I was having as you guys were talking. Just kind of, popped in my head that man, it's an evolution, man, and I think that we've all been here and seen the evolution, and I think that whether Miss Lady and Ottawa know it, they're expressing the fact that you know, the evolution has come to the point where I think that the social media environment can support the original idea, the original promise of sharing positive ideas and thoughts and and stuff like that. So that's all I'm saying. Y'all go back to your conversation. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. All right, Miss Elisa, your line open.
Oh, hey, I started looking at hair videos. Um, I wasn't trying to get involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let me see what I was going to say as a listening in. Yeah, Tyrone, you were talking about uh, I lost my train of thought. Listening to y'all made me lose my train of thought. Damn. Um, oh yeah, Tyrone, you were talking about Donald Trump's what's the name of that old thing he got going on?
Oh, the whatever gathering he got. I forgot. I don't know. Let me see.
Board of Peace.
Board
Yeah,
of Peace.
wait
That's
a
what it is.
minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Board of Peace, and you had said that the UN Security Council did give an endorsement,
Mm-hmm.
endorsement, but backed it. It was backed by the United Nations Security Council until the end of 2027. I get why they did that, so they could, I guess, you know, in a sense, control what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But you know, like that, it's a $1 billion fee for a seat. The board charter requires nations to pay $1 billion for permanent seat, leading to critics calling it a pay to play arrangement to buy influence and favor with the president. Personal control, critics point out the structure which leaves Trump as the chairman for life with the power to approve all budgets, veto decisions, expel members, arguing this lack of oversight is ripe for personal achievement and scandal and bribe. Lack of transparency. Concerns have been raised about how the funds will be used, with some speculating they will be used for dark money slush funds or to finance real estate development for Trump and his associates. Bypassing established institutions by creating a new body that some view as a rival to the United Nations. The board is seen as some as to attempt to avoid international law established by oversight mechanisms. So, yeah, it's a lot going on with that. And the countries that are involved, um, it's not, wait a minute, because I was reading countries here. Let me find where, because when I was hearing about this, uh,
You know what, Elisa? I just glanced at something. It said the Pope's not interested in being on that committee
yeah,
or board.
the more
Yeah.
like the first world countries and things like that, and the European nations and stuff. You have a lot of Arab countries, a lot of countries like Argentina, different things that has dictators and things like this. This is nothing but corruption and slush fund. That's
Yep.
all this is. That's all it is. Because
Yep.
if you, the list of countries that you and all of the other, most of the other countries who's not well, not to say a lot of countries have corruption, but with what they're planning to do with this is countries that are not involved with the UN. They have dictators and all types of trafficking and illegal things, within the government, stuff like that. So that's all this is a way. And then Trump's going to take 10 billion, which we all know that Congress is supposed to control the purse, and it's no telling what all they're going to be doing with no oversight. And some of these countries that would not normally be involved with things. This is a way for them to be able to pay to get political favors and things. Now that the United States is rogue and we have a corrupt scumbag running it, this is a chance for them to get in on things. That's all this is. That's all it is. And like when all of these Muslims and all of them, when they was all in behind Jill Stein, and let's put the black dude, I can't think of his name, from Princeton, all of them, they were just shills taking money from Russia and from Israel and things like that.
You
This is
talking
a
about Cornel
shame.
West?
And yeah, Cornel West and different people like that, when they were telling them, do not support these people. Yes, we all had a problem with Biden handling Israel and that whole war with Gaza, things like that. Still hammering down with Western, uh, in a sense, the West has always supported. This has always been Western policy. Wasn't necessarily Biden's policy. It was Western policy before he even became president for decades. And we had a problem with it, and it was time to clamp down. It was time to stamp down from an awful lot of that. So, yes, he brought a lot of this on himself, but you expect the United States to have just take that left turn like that and say, we're not going to go along with Western policy. But Biden was when he was president, he could have started it to make changes. He could have did a little more to start to make changes to back off of some of that stuff that they have been doing for decades as it relates to Palestine. But now it's nothing but corruption, slush funds, and just a mess they're gonna have of the same thing that his son-in-law Jared Kushner was talking about before Trump was even in office. So it's just a shame. But the people who voted for this, and I'm talking about the Arabs and the ones up there in Michigan, different things like that. And from my understanding in the articles that I was reading, the people that was on the ground in Gaza wanted Kamala for president. But the Arabs up in Michigan and different places like that came out against them, was talking about they was going to back Donald Trump. They ignored their own people and did something totally different. It's just a hot mess.
Yeah, he's corrupt.
All of it.
He's corrupt. I mean, you
All
look
of
at.
it.
I mean,
People were telling them it's just corruption.
yeah. If you look at who Donald Trump is, that's all it is. And this country has screwed up and gave that man the position of the most powerful man on the planet, and he's exploiting every bit of it, and he's taking advantage of us. And people are too. I don't know if they're too weak or they support it, but they letting them just run rampant on this country. All right, go ahead.
If I was a leader of a shithole country, I would definitely join that, get the $1 billion, join that, to see what favors I can get from the United States while the country is rogue. This is the best time to do it. While the country is rogue, everybody's going to get you some.
Yeah, this ain't the end of Donald Trump. This whenever he gets done, he's going to be amass so much wealth that he's going to be able to rival nations and control, pull the levers on a global level. So I don't know what his plan is.
I don't agree with that. I don't think so, Tyrone. This is not going to last forever. He gonna. The Trump is sick. You know that.
But
he's not going to be able to. He could be doing all that. He's not going to be doing all that. He doesn't even have
his folks will, because if you look at Elon Musk, even though we don't hear a lot of Elon Musk, but Elon Musk got his nose in governments all over the damn world. So he gonna be doing
like
shit
Musk and those will, but once a lot of these people have gotten what they want from Trump, they're gonna toss him aside. And Trump is not going to be around to be doing all of that. He's not going to be doing all of that. They get what they want from him, and then they're going to toss him aside. Once he's gone, MAGA's done. And all these other people who built up all this wealth and power, they will move on to the next thing. That's all this is. Donald Trump ain't going to be doing all of this.
I think that he's digging in a little deeper than that, because you got the Heritage Foundation, you got the Project 2025 going on, you got stuff like Turning Point USA. You got a lot of stuff going on.
But MAGA will die. MAGA will die with Trump. I didn't say I said that's about the corruption.
Yeah,
and the people who was able to get things, they will continue on. MAGA will die with Trump.
Well, yeah, I hope all the rest of that stuff die down too.
When he leaves office, that's it for MAGA. But it has nothing to do. It's not going to stop the right way, the Christian evangelicals and all that good stuff. No. They're still going to be around trying to do. The Republican Party is finished, but MAGA.
Hmm.
They're not going to be able to replace that with a new leader. That's it with Trump, and then they will move on to the next thing.
Yeah. But ABC, I got your line open. What's up?
Hey, what's happening, man? You guys have moved on, to another topic.
No, but
But
first
I
and
just wanted
foremost, you need to get rid of all facts. You brought them back over here, so you need to get
to.
rid of them.
Well, I wanted to try to address some of the stuff that was said, including that. Uh, I ain't trying to throw you off, but just I'll say this and then I'll get off here. As far as what you just said, um, Ken or him, somebody asked me to host them too. They were going at it. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I brought them on and I let them do their thing, and that was kind of, what do you call it, hosting. That was it. After that, he just kept calling back. And like you said, I can't stop him from calling. Now I can stop him from coming on my show. But he was cool, as long as you manage the boards and don't let people run around like that, then it ain't no issue. And he straightens up. I mean, all facts is all facts, but if he know he gonna get muted or whatever, then he'll just stay focused on the point. To this other stuff, you know, look, it's the Wild West out there. Everybody know what it is if ain't nobody hosting. And what nobody does, since ain't nobody else willing to host, is she comes on all the other empty days and opens it up. And she says it's an airing opportunity night or something. And she basically is like, look, y'all do y'all thing. I'll jump in, I'll contribute a little bit here or there, but she'll tell you, hey, I'll be going to sleep in a couple hours. So the issue is that there's really not another host. You host and I host regular basis, and nobody is there all the other time. So I ain't saying that she ain't hosting, but she's basically saying, "Hey, look, I'm just here to open it up for everybody." So it's kind of hard for people to put the demands on her, like, "Hey, you need to control it." She ain't really present herself as if she's, "Hey, this is the nobody show." She's just opening it up. And then one last thing is, as far as the interaction and the people yelling over the top, number one, everybody on here except me was all about the, hey, let's all talk at the time. Leave the lines open, leave the lines open. And when you do that, you're gonna get what you get, and that's what happens. Uh, Miss Lady was talking about, me and stuff. I want to say seriously, and I mean it seriously. Me and her had a good conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we don't, we at odds with everything. But I just said, hey, look, let's not talk over each other. I didn't talk over her, she didn't talk over me, and we had a good conversation. So it can be like that, but you know, it ain't like she don't be taking jabs at people. So people come back at it, and it's open on those nights. So she get what she get, and Allfax does get wild, but hey, that's how the show is on there. Um, so all of that being said is that it ain't the end of the world. It ain't like Tyrone save us and all that kind of shit. It's hey, ain't nobody really doing the show those nights. Nobody is doing everybody a favor by coming in and kind of setting it up,
You got to be honest
putting it
about
on
that.
record and stuff.
If people are having a conversation, and then you got one dude that come on there and just disrupt everybody, cuss everybody out, belittle everybody, that ain't right. So you can't. You got to see that there's something wrong with what he doing.
Hey, I don't like it, and I said in the chat, all of y'all was all for that shit. And I'm the one that stopped us like, fuck that shit. Lines are closed and, we come in one at a time. We ain't gonna have all that chaos. And everybody on here screamed to me, hey, this nigga, open the lines, open the lines. Okay, now y'all got the lines open. What you crying about?
No, man. I mean,
So,
especially when they've been taking that time and having conversation amongst themselves and without all that drama. Then all of a sudden, this guy
yeah.
pops up and
And
just
look, it ain't cool. I ain't supportive of that. But all facts be contributing sometimes. I mean, he's 50-50. You don't know what you're going to get. But he can have a conversation. He can contribute. She even said that they had some conversations. It's just that he gets out of sorts, or people be setting each other off too. She be throwing jabs just like everybody else. She just said tonight that my wife was downtrodden and shit. I'm like, what the hell? But it's all cool. I don't give a shit. I told her that her husband got rid of her because she got a big mouth and shit. And it's the Wild West. That's what we do, right? Lines are open.
well,
Hey,
I
let's
don't do
talk
that
about each
shit.
other. all that shit. No, I'm saying she does it like everybody else, so she ain't got no room to talk and shit.
All right. Well,
It's just
who's this other line I
good.
just opened?
ABC, and you know it. You know there is a big difference in how I communicate and how Allfax communicates. So your coach is foolish, and you know it.
Hey, Miss
Okay,
Lady. But
you're
well,
not
can I ask you
helping
this?
him.
Can
Helping
I
him
ask you
by
this?
coaching his
Now hold
foolishness.
on.
Okay.
And I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But first, I want to ask you this. Be honest. Didn't me and you have a good conversation a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we did. We
Yeah,
did.
it was cool. And all I'm saying, you mentioned yourself that you and Allfax have had, a couple of decent
In
conversations.
the past, and it was, but I mean, I'm kind of, I'm a little surprised he's gotten off the deep end. I mean, really going off the deep end. Like I hadn't heard him go off the deep end like that. I mean, he just got progressively worse over the past couple of weeks, whereas
Well,
it
did you
just
take
got.
any jabs at him?
No, I stand up for myself. So I'm going to stand up for myself and my position. No. But then when he starts yelling and screaming and cursing and interrupting while I'm speaking to someone, like me and East Coast were having a pleasant conversation about voting and how the regime wants to make it difficult for people to vote, including doing mail-in ballots. And we were trying. He just bursts in and starts yelling and screaming about that shouldn't be no obstacle. I'm just paraphrasing. People will come, people pick people up to take them to the polls. Blah blah. And then East Coast said, "Well, what if they're bedridden?" It's like he just comes in and just bursts and interrupts and starts yelling, and he's being an obstructionist. His thing is to say, if you're saying A, no, it's B, and he does. There's no discussion. He just tells you what it is in a very disrespectful manner. A loud tone, a loud volume, and then if you say, hold on," then now here you all kind of bees and stupid. I mean, then he gets down better about that's his go-to.
Hey, so look, I agree. He gets wild with it sometimes, and maybe a good amount of times. But honestly, I'm saying that you throw some jabs, he throws some jabs. Every on all these shows except for mine and except for Tyrone's, everybody's throwing jabs, and the other thing
So,
too, Miss Lady. The other thing too is, and I ain't trying to go at you nothing, but you've done this to me when I called into the Tyrone show. I'm talking to him about one thing and stuff, and then I ain't talking about the vulgar stuff. But you jump in and no, and you just need to do it, and just start doing all of that. It's kind of the
but
same thing. You ain't vulgar like he is, but you doing the same
no,
thing.
have I cursed? I haven't cursed you out.
No, I
I
said you
haven't
don't do that. I
changed.
said you don't do that. You don't do that.
Gotten gutter. I might disagree, but I'm not doing it at his level when he's just going on for 20 minutes, 15, 20, half an hour with all that foolishness.
Hey, but let's be clear. I didn't say that you were gutter. I'm not saying that. Not that part.
No,
But
but
yelling over the
no,
top of people and
no,
interrupting the conversation, you've done that.
excuse me. I'm going to stand up. That's not the same as tit for tat. Because I don't start anything with all facts. The fact it's like, oh Lord, here he comes. You know, he's the one that starts it all, and he keeps it going. So
Yeah.
it's not tit for tat.
Well,
Well,
I ain't
yeah, I
saying that
just
he
really
don't do
wish
that.
that he would go back to where he came from. I mean, honestly, everybody was just fine without all this drama, and I mean that's the best way it could have been.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe people start hosting shows and they'll control it or something.
Well, now
Maybe Miss
What,
Lady
what do you
will
find so
host a
funny,
show.
ABC?
What's that?
Yeah, what do you find so funny, ABC? You're sitting there laughing. What do you find
I
funny?
tell you, no, I tell you what I find funny. You got what you want. You was one of the people that screamed, "Hey, he using the lines. He control. He just
What?
want to control all shit." y'all wanted to make this big issue that, hey, he won't let people talk. He muting the lines, all stuff, and it was never about that. It was about trying to have a daggone conversation instead of people screaming over the top of each other. You can't hear what's being said. But y'all had, I'm serious, all of y'all was screaming at Tyrone, hey, he won't let nobody, he mute lines. Well, you got lines that are open. So deal with it. You know,
So let me get this right now. You're equating, people talking over with trolling. Is that what you're doing?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, it's all the same to you?
Well,
I
hold
just want
on.
to be
Let's be
clear.
clear. What you just said, people talking over, right? If me and Tyrone are talking about Trump and what he did with such and such, and you jump in, well, what about it? Well, what about it? No, you just doing that. See, you just a coon. All that shit, that's trolling. I mean, it's worse than I ain't gonna say worse than trolling, but it's as bad as trolling. You might as well be trolling, whether you mean it or not. It's bullshit. We were talking,
But
we had a
I don't do that.
conversation, and you came in and interrupted it and threw everything off.
Yeah, but
It's the
I don't
same
do
thing.
that. When I call your show, I
No,
don't
no, I ain't
troll you.
saying you do it. I ain't saying you do it, but I'm just saying you just
You're
asked
using
me.
you quite liberally. That's why I
But
asked.
yeah, but hold on. No, I'm saying you asked me, do I equate people jumping in and talking over topic to trolling? And I'm saying, yeah, when people do this stuff, now it seems like everybody's starting to get tired of it, which is good. I mean, because it's not a real conversation when you do all this shit, but everybody seemed to enjoy it. Y'all was having a good time doing it for what, the past couple of years or something. I guess everybody getting older now. Finally, y'all like, shit, I can't hear what's being said. And that's what I was telling y'all from the beginning. But look. So I'm just saying. You asked me what's funny. I think it's kind of funny.
I think it's kind of sick that you think it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. But hey, to
Well,
each his own,
yeah,
right?
teach his own. I was going to say the same thing. Teach his own. It's like me and Tyrone. I was telling Tyrone about all this chaos and craziness and these devils that's running the government 5 years ago, and he's calling me a conspiracy theorist. Now all of a sudden he done found, hey man, y'all hear what they doing out here? Like nigga, where you been for the past 10 years?
Okay,
So it's kind of funny to me.
we talk about two different things. I won't talk about what you talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
All right, well, now somebody lied.
I don't know. Yeah.
I just
I
opened
just find
somebody
it I
line.
just find it kind of disturbing. Yeah. I find it kind of disturbing that he feels some sort of vindication or joy in this. That's really disturbing to me. But hey, whatever.
Yeah,
Hello.
it ain't really. I do feel vindication, but it ain't joy. This shit is the devils are running this shit.
Hello.
It was a conspiracy to y'all.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Maze. I'll shut up.
Oh,
Hello.
IBC. You have the nerve to sit and talk about somebody's show because all you and I'ma do is sit there and laugh and talk about nothing. That's why nobody's calling your program because it's not a show. And all you do is keep up a little record over there with yours and tell how people not talking. And the way you talk about Renee, you don't have no room to say nothing about nobody. I know you got a fetish with her, but you shouldn't be talking about that lady like that, the young lady. You don't have no respect for her, and I know you don't have none for me, and I don't care. But and then all you do is talk about Tyrone, what he said on Thursday night, and then when the people that's talking through the week, you sit there, you don't have a show. You don't. All you do is sit there and grump about them. So that we were not talking at the same time. We get up at night, different times of night, and we have a conversation with each other. You don't do that because somebody say something that you don't like, they go to mute, just like you did the other night. You wait for Armin to come in. I don't think neither one of y'all can vote. That's why I would like to see Armin tell us about a voting ballot and what it looks like. So when you call that a show and talking about families and no fathers in the house, that's been going on ever since you been on the air, and you're still doing it. And your wife not working, something like that. Like I said, the kids be grown and be gone. Somebody needs to go to work and do something instead of being in the house and being bored. So you don't like what I have to say, sir. But that's why I don't call your show, because you don't be talking about giving nobody no reason to have a conversation about anything. Because you have Arma and the other guy. He's about your president and my president. All of that stupid stuff he was doing the other night. I didn't see you stop him. You sitting there laughing about it like it was funny. You need to grow up and stop trying to stay on all night long being selfish and do like Tyrone do. Leave at 12 o'clock. And then you will grow up.
give other people an opportunity, but you're too selfish to do that. So with that, y'all have a good one.
Thank God.
All
We
right.
need to put
Now
a beat on when
I
she
open
starts
somebody's
talking.
line. Hold on for a second. Wait a minute, hold on for a second. Let me see who line this is.
Hello?
Who line is this right here? I just opened your line. Who is that?
Hello?
Hello, who is this?
Hey, Tyrone. This is Lisa. This is one of your old listeners from back in the day. I just wanted to say hello.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, Lisa, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing
Oh
good.
man, the
I'm.
Lisa effect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
Lisa
God,
effect.
you
I remember
do.
you.
You remember me?
Yeah, hey. Of course I do. Yeah, hey.
Oh, it is so good. I found you guys again on YouTube. So yeah, I go back from the days of Pianki, Mr. Solution.
Yeah, on BTR.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. And then it's so weird. You guys are talking about all facts. I thought about him 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to him. Well, now I know. I just wanted to say it's so good, and Maze, it was so good to hear her voice and everybody. So just to let you know, hello,
Yeah,
and
hey, how you doing?
you got some listeners.
We didn't hit
Yeah,
away.
you got listeners on YouTube.
Yeah, we didn't hit away in the corner over here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, you guys take care.
All right, nice to hear from you.
Oh, you too. Take care.
Call back in. Call back in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
will.
used to be fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to go
Everybody
at
chill
it.
around.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah. But anyway, take care. You know, good to hear your voice.
You guys take care.
All right.
Bye.
All right. I think Mama's boy pushed one. Let me see. Yeah, I did. Hey, what's up, Mama's boy?
Peace, everybody. I only pressed one when I heard the ABC coming on, and I was like, this nigga is actually smug. You know,
And what's that mean, Mama's boy?
Well, it means you're feeling yourself right now. You're smug.
Yeah,
You're like, I told you. Let me go. Since he don't think I know what I'm talking about. You know, you're feeling real good inside. Your belly's warm. But let me tell you where you're wrong. Let me tell you where your smug is counterfeit. The fact that Allfax is a troublemaker doesn't mean that our operation doesn't work. If you remember correctly, your dumbass admitted that everything was going fine until his ass started going on his crack binges. Right? And you yourself admit, hold on, nigga, I ain't done. I gotta edge you up.
Okay,
you
nigga,
know.
all right. Okay,
I gotta
nigga,
edge you up. Hold on, just hang on. One more thing. I know it. Listen, when little 3-year-olds get up in my chair, they don't want to get their hair cut. But goddamn it, you getting your hair cut, so shut the fuck up. So you admitted yourself that you and Miss Lady had a cordial conversation, and it went well because you waited your turn. You withheld your feelings and waited your turn. And that's not what Allfax is doing. And you hear it and know it, right? Right. Okay, so thank you, sir. Now you can get the fuck out of my chair. That'll be $40.
Yeah, I really hate that that's going on, though. I really wish he would just go back where he was, you know. And
well, hold on. Since he said all that, let me just comment about it. Look, I said to Miss Lady, yeah, he was, you know, he gets out of hand. And I said it's like 50-50. You know, can't nobody control him. You know, he don't do that on my show because I'm controlling the lines, and if he start going off, I mute him. But like I said, ain't nobody hosting. I mean, nobody. I don't want to say she ain't hosting, but she's saying, "Look,
I don't
I'm
think that's
open."
fair. I don't think
No,
that's fair
but
because
hold on,
she
brother.
is
See, I
she is
let you.
hosting the show.
No,
Can
no,
you
no.
hold on a
Hold on,
second?
hold on. He right, Mama's boy. If she opens up and then she say, "Well, I'm gonna go to sleep," then she ain't in the area to take care of
And
nothing.
and,
So
and I want to be clear because I said it earlier. I don't want to say she ain't hosting, but she's saying, look, it's an airing opportunity. Look, I'm gonna be here. I don't know how long I'm gonna last. I'll probably go to sleep. She's letting everybody know. Look, I'm doing this for y'all, and I got it on recording. She starts off. She gives a little opening or something. She interacts some, and then she's out. So for people to expect that it's gonna be all controlled, like she's gonna okay, you stop talking. And she does mute people sometime
There
every
you go.
now and then or something if it gets too crazy. But you know, now we at the point where everybody's screaming that all facts all out of control. And it needs to be this and then. I'm saying, look, y'all know what it is, and all somebody got to do, if they feel
Point
so
is,
strong about it, is come
and
in
it's
and host a show. They can host a show and they
I
can
don't
just
think that's the answer. How is hosting the show? The
because they
answer
can mute
is
them.
hold on. You spoke your piece. The answer isn't host a show and it'll stop because the nigga still gonna call in and still be the same nigga,
Yeah,
right?
but mama's
If
boy,
he's
look, I
hold
let you
on,
do all
wait
the
a
talking,
minute,
man,
nigga.
and you
You
cut me
just
off.
told me not to cut you off, and here you are in my lane now.
Okay, it's the mama's boy show. Go ahead, man.
Well, it's
Tell me
gonna
when you
be
finish.
Mama's Boy show with Mama's Boy talking for that Mama's Boy minute, nigga.
Just tell me when you finish,
Okay,
man. Go
let me
ahead.
finish. Just let me finish what I'm saying. It's simple. If the common denominator is all facts, and he don't want to play nice, and we've already demonstrated to him that okay, fuck your past. You want to be over here, we'll entertain you, and then he decides to be so disruptive where he's a problem. That's not our format, nigga. That's the nigga. I'm done.
Okay. If somebody's hosting a show and he's doing that, they're gonna mute him. If nobody's in the position, if nobody's assuming the position of hosting the show, then it ain't nobody hosting. So anybody can do anything on there. As a matter of fact, it ain't like he is the only one. He's vulgar. He might be the worst. We can say he's the worst. But he ain't the only one that's doing all this talking and talking over each other and stuff. As a matter of fact, I done heard since nobody say a number of times that Howard, even Howard is like, hey, come on, can we go one at a time? Everybody do that shit. That's what y'all been doing. And again, I understand that all facts is a different animal. I get it. I get it. But I'm saying
it's
this idea about hosting and who's hosting, it takes
not
one of y'all to host the show so you can control it. That's all.
Oh,
You're
it
being
doesn't.
disingenuous because our behavior nowhere comes near all facts
I'm not
atrocious.
saying it is the same thing. I'm not saying
So
it's the
stop
same
trying
thing.
to say everybody's the same because we're not.
I'm not saying it's the same thing, but if you interrupting people and talking over the top of them while they talking, you still interrupting shit.
That's
It ain't the
true.
same as all facts, but you still interrupting stuff, so we still can't hear what's being said because you interrupted somebody.
Well, can I just say sometimes Sister Nobody does open up the show with a topic. Like she opened up the show talking about that bio lab that was discovered in Vegas last week, which was interesting because I had glanced at the headline, but I hadn't really read about it. So that was interesting. I mean, so she does present good information sometimes. But then here comes, people be talking respectfully, and here comes the blowhard who just busts in loud and wrong, okay? And won't
I mean, the
stop.
fact that you laughing, ABC proves to everybody that what we're saying is true. You happy it's happening, You the one invited the nigga back. I think this might be a plan by your contrived dumb ass, maybe.
Okay.
You could have your fingerprints on it, right?
Okay.
Because listen, hold on. You're unwilling to grab your balls and tell the nigga to stop calling in. Yeah, and you was the nigga who grabbed your balls and told him to come on through.
Tell me when you finish.
I will. I'll let you know, nigga. So, I mean, you would think if you got the nervousness of laughing coming out of your body, which tells me that you feel responsible for this shit, your smugness might be the fact that you motherfucker put this shit together. You might be the Lego master. You know, kids sit down and put together Legos, and at the end of them putting them all together is something, a boat, a car. You put together this bullshit with all facts because you feel some type of way about our format. So rather than just leaving us the fuck alone and being what you are and let us be what we be, you decided to throw a monkey wrench that looks like all facts into our system. That's what it looks like to me, nigga. While you over there, eat. So let me put it down live on YouTube. I think you might have something to do with this, nigga. I'm done.
Thank God. All right. Look, it's this simple. Number one, like you wrong about everything else, you wrong about this. I ain't doing nothing to bring this guy over here. I was asked to host for him and Ken a debate. I said, okay, I did it, and that was it. After that, he got the number. Ain't nobody hosting the show. Well, let me again correct that. Nobody's there to open the show, and she says her little piece, and she lets it go. She's not claiming or assuming hey, this is my show, I'm hosting the show. I mean, she does some of this, but she ain't doing a regular hosting of a show. That's why it gets like that. And as far as my laughter, yeah, I think the shit's funny because niggas like you, mama's little baby, was the ones out here, that nigga muting the lines, he just want to be a boss, he just control it, he won't let nobody talk, he won't want to, and you help contribute to all this yelling over the top of each other, everything, trolling people or fucking with people, everything's a big Jonesing game and all this shit, so it was just chaos. You contributed to that shit. So now you got what you wanted. Ain't nobody hosting the shows. It's only me and Tyrone. And then again, nobody's doing the thing. Maybe she'll come on. If her line is there, I hope she'll come on and she can explain it. But from what I hear and what I see, she comes on and say, hey, here's a little something we can talk about. But look, the line's open. It's an air and opportunity night. Do your thing. So you can't put that on her. Ain't nobody going at her. I'm saying the show's open and wide open, and that's what niggas like you, mama's little baby, wanted. You wanted that shit. You and your dumbass friend, the fat guy, and all these other niggas, all y'all. You and Miss, what's that nut job that was just on there? Maze, in a fucking maze. Yeah, that's the perfect name because she talks in riddles and shit. Y'all do that shit. Y'all all screaming over the top of each other. Y'all all sound crazy as hell. Now you got what you want. I think this shit's fucking hilarious. You got what you want. Now all of a sudden, all y'all trying to grow up and shit. Well, you know, we can't hear. Let's talk one at a time. Motherfucker, I told you that shit 10 years ago. Yeah, it's funny. So enjoy. Have at it. And I'm done.
ABC, you got to learn to let you got to learn to let shit go. Sound like you got some.
No, it's all good. I'm just saying, I think it's kind of funny nigga come on and try to act like he regulating this shit. I think you
sound like you got some pent. You got some pent up frustration going on.
No, man. I just thought it was funny. I was just trying to be funny back with Mama's boy. He making a jokey joke at me, so I'm making a jokey joke.
Wait a minute.
No, he coming at me real.
I got another call.
Hey,
Hold
I'm
on.
listening. I gotta get off. I'm listening, but I'm gonna mute my line.
All right, Mama's boy, I got your line open, but let me check and see who this is. Who's this caller here?
Oh yes, ABC. Before he run, Tell him he's jealous of us, and he has nobody calling his show but 3 people. Cause Sarge left. I don't know why he don't call him anymore. But why he's always critiquing, and he brought Ken back too. He brought both of them back. So maybe he is trying to mess the show up because he don't have anybody talking to him.
Oh, he brought Ken back too?
Yes.
Well, like I said, I don't deal with that mess.
I know you don't. You don't deal with it, but we have to deal with him and his mess with the same rhetoric that he has to keep on. Oh, she's talking too fast and she's talking too much. Women talk too much. And he's not saying anything, even though women are talking. If he open his ears sometime, he can hear what people are saying. And it's always about your Thursday night show, too, Tyrone. Now, why is he complaining about your show?
I have no idea.
But then he said, me and you, we got a show. He don't have nothing. He just got 3 people that call in, and he gets upset. Like Mr. Solution used to call him. He don't call him anymore either. So he sit there to waiting. I can time him. He wait for one. I'm on a call, and then the other one will call. They'll wait an hour, and then each one like in line, and they'll call each other, and then he stays on longer. One week, nobody called him, and then he went off early. And then Renee called him, and he was calling her all kind of everything. And then he always talking about Christian. He Christian in what? That he's another devil. He's talking about devils out here. He's one of them. Talk about me Saturday night. I know I stay in your head. Been there for ever since you've been on. So anyway, Tyrone, he don't have a show, and he's not convincing us that he's having a show. We have a good time, and he don't like it. So he done brought them 2 back to disturb the show.
Well, that's what it sounds like all facts
Both of them call his show.
You hear people talking, and he want to disrupt it. I don't understand that mindset.
And he's like you live everybody
go ahead.
at the same time. Everybody don't talk at the same time because we respect
They
each other.
don't. That's right.
In his head, he keeps up the mess between whoever his guest is that he have on his little platform that he got. And he loves it, and then he has that funny little laugh when he know he's doing something stupid, and that's when that little laugh come out. But he think he's doing something. I think he on medication too. So I just said my part. Talk about me as much as you want to. I know I'm in your head, and I know Renee is shot all over your head. Because I'm getting sick of you talking about her, too. So I'm going for good tonight, and y'all have a good one.
Yes, ma'am.
Peace, Sister May.
Go ahead, mama's boy.
Oh, I think I made my point. I ain't going to drag your show down with this nonsense. I did want to tell you, though, that I told all facts when he first started calling it to our show, not ABC show. I don't know how long he was calling in the ABC show, but he started calling in and listening and talking on our show. And I told him to call in. I found it funny. He called in every day of the week except Thursday when you having your show. Mm. And I said, if this is what you doing, call in the Tyrone show. And asked him if it's all right for you to come back. And he never did it. And the funny thing is, Tyrone, you know this nigga. As soon as you hang up the line on Thursdays, he's talking. But he ain't raise his motherfucking hand to do all that mouth running when you running your show, because he know it's not gonna be friendly. Because you called him a troll then. I'm still calling him a troll now. I mean, it sounds like troll behavior. And I know the monkey who threw the wrench. Hurt dog will bark every time. ABC, what up, nigga? What up, nigga? Really, nigga?
Tyrone.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama.
No, go ahead, sis. I'm done.
No, I'm sorry. Tyrone, since y'all gonna talk about, I'm not getting in on this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bid y'all good night, and y'all handle it out, do the best that you can, and I'll talk to you guys next week, because this is Tyrone knows.
Yeah.
And this is not okay. So y'all haggle it out. And if we all still here, I'll speak to you guys next week. Take care and behave yourself.
All right. Thank
you. Peace.
All right, then.
Yeah.
All right.
This is some disturbing shit, man. I hope y'all listen. This is a really disturbing shit. You got one guy who's trolling, making secret recordings of people and all this shit like that. Another dude that's just giggling and shit, like a little girl. Man, this is some disturbing shit there, man. Man, I don't even know what to say about it.
Well, yeah.
I
See,
think it's
that's how I ended up like this, Joe. Because as I'm trying to tell you, I try to get away from that stuff, but it seemed to follow me around. I don't do the trolling stuff no more, man. I understand back in the day when everybody was going at each other, it was all fun and all that. That no DQ shit, it was funny. But I mean, shit, you can only do that shit for so long, calling names and cussing each other out and all that kind of stuff.
It sounds like ABC has some pent up feelings. Hey
Well,
man,
that's what I hear too. You hit it on the
I told
head,
this
cause
dude, I said if he puts aside all that crazy shit, he can laugh and joke with the best of us, and he's done it before. That's the funny part. He's laughed and joked with us.
well,
when he
ABC
puts aside
mad.
all the bullshit.
It sounds like ABC got some problem with when y'all used to call in and complain about being muted on his show. So now he got some get back. So he want to say that's what you deserve. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you hold on to shit, don't you?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, well,
and Tyrone. The funny thing is, he's so ready to be right, he's wrong about his analysis in the first fucking place. He just so ready to be right though. He gonna go ahead and say before it's over, yeah, that's what y'all get. When in actuality, you the one who threw the bitch nigga to us. So it ain't what we get; it's what you gave us. That's not that's what y'all get. That's you put some shit together and tried to do it to us. You the guilty. That's a guilty laugh, Tyrone. I ain't that. That's probably why the nigga don't like me. Cause that's a guilty laugh, and I can pick up on shit like that. He's only smug because he feels like it worked because it made it up to your front desk. That's why he came on the line talking. Well, it really ain't work. I mean, all facts is like the Donald Trump of TRS. You picked the wrong nigga to do it because he gonna fuck it up like he just did. He done fucked it up. I wasn't gonna complain on him, but I knew eventually somebody would because Tyrone, he drones on for hours.
Well, I know. I mean, I experienced it for years, so.
In hours, yeah. And he even admitted, I want to say this on behalf of Miss Lady. He even admitted last night that he don't give a damn what the topic is. If he hears Miss Lady on the line, he's coming at her.
Well, that's
he made
weird,
a point to say that last night.
That's kind of weird.
You know,
I hung up. I didn't know that. I could tell because every time I would start to talk, here he comes. It was intentional to be really rude and disrespectful and talk over, and so I couldn't say what I was saying. So I knew that it was intentional, but I didn't know he had said it. But yes, very intentional.
Yeah, it's weird because people like that will hear a woman talk, and if they say something that they don't like, then they hold on to that. For instance, if Miss Lady said, "Well, I like to date tall men," or I can understand why a white man would do this, then they hear that and they latch on to that, and then all of a sudden they just drag that out and stretch it out, and then it becomes hate. It's weird. I don't know. I can't explain that.
I think he has some hurt feelings under all of that. I must have said something to hurt his feelings, but the way he's responding is crazy. He has a vendetta. And in terms of ABC with his mute button, the reason he was discriminating against people in terms of allowing them to speak. So if he didn't like what you were saying, and especially if you were a woman, he muted you so fast. But then he would allow the men that agreed with him
Yeah.
to drop on and on.
It's that red pill manosphere stuff where they think they supposed to control all women. every woman's supposed to listen to them and respect them. That's what they believe.
Well, they're very insecure under all that, and we see through it. All bravado.
Well, not to mention, he uses our show all week as content for his fucking show. So this nigga is like eating chips and peanuts, listening to our show hours on end for content for his program.
I didn't know that, Mama's boy.
He's been doing it since day one. That's why we be busting jokes back and forth on his dumb ass while we be doing the show, because we know what he's doing. And I want to throw this out there too, since we slinging some junk in the street. Now, what the fuck is Ken Allfax fucking with Alquan for? And then fucking around over here. That shit looks suspicious. And that makes you look suspicious, bitch, see? I'm just saying. First, Alquan gets pissed, bounces, trolls Tyrone to the nth degree. We don't want to talk about this nigga. But then when Allfax falls out with Tyrone, somehow him and Antoine, whatever the Alquan bitch ass, hook up. And this nigga go on Alquan's show. Now that shit looks earthly suspicious to a nigga like me. It just, I'm sorry, I gotta throw it out there. You're looking ugly, bitch, see. You look like you cavorting with the enemy.
Well, I can't explain it. All I do is, back away like I did. I ain't got no time to deal with them fellas.
I expected by now, Tyrone. I mean, we constantly getting trolled, and we supposed to be the smallest show on YouTube. We supposed to be the smallest congregation of Negroes talking and doing shows every night.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow we got a handful of fucking trolls every motherfucking night.
Well, that's sad, because they plenty of other things to do than mess with people like that,
Well, I know nobody has muted people, so she can mute Allfax if she wants to. And I think he should be spoken to about what's appropriate behavior and what's going past the line. And if he goes past the line, he should be muted.
Yeah, you're right. There should be limits. It sounds like he ain't got no limits on him whenever he's speaking.
He's a coward. What you expect a coward to have limits? No. Ain't no limit a coward will run. Trust me, Tyrone. There's no limit a coward will not run to. I mean, he didn't have the balls to even come and talk to you first, like he tried to say he had the balls to do the first time you let him come back to the show. Remember that, Tyrone?
Yeah,
he was braggadocious almost on the fact that y'all niggas can call in on me all you want to. I've already spoke to Tyrone. We done cleared the air. But he done tore his drawers so bad this time, he know if he show up to your doorstep, you calling the police. And that's why he ain't come here on Tonight Is Your Night, Thursday night, and have it out with you. He's a coward and a troll. So trolls, don't get mad if when you run into our room to troll, you get trolled. Don't have a hissy fit and try to tie the line up all night long because you mad because we started trolling your troll ass. Don't troll or don't call into the show or both, motherfucker. That might be good for your life. I'm sorry, Tyrone. I had to put that public announcement out there.
No. You straight. It's just sad though. It's sad, and I guess some people just don't grow up.
I appreciate you saying that, Mama's boy. You speaking up, because it's really bad. It's really bad. The show's about to get smaller because I don't think some of us don't want to listen to that, and we're not going to.
Well, I don't blame you, but I kind of think that's his goal to destroy stuff.
Yeah, he's destroying it because he's miserable, so he wants everybody else to be miserable. And I know East Coast will hang up quick. I'll hang up. I'll hang up. So it's going to be him running his mouth and nobody just letting him do it. I don't think she's listening to all that either, to be honest.
I do know that she do come on and then she probably go to sleep or something. You know, she just opening it up so people can call in.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I really believe he's just really unhappy, and he just can't stand people on the line having some laughter and being able to have a pleasant conversation and discuss things in an adult manner, and having maybe had some social life or something. He's just really a sad, unhappy, miserable person because nobody else would act like that if they weren't. I feel sorry for him. I really do.
And y'all say he on here every night.
Yep. He comes blaring out.
He gonna be on here tonight, Tyrone. He on here now. God damn it.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
He on here right the fuck now, nigga.
I had to take some of my time back for myself. That's why I only can do it.
And, hey, as you should, nigga. Do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody, bro. We was still handling business. Sister, nobody came back, and it does spark shit, and it's supposed to, right? And so we talking now. Everybody's talking, and disagreements and everything. All that's happening. We got something, but this particular jabroni done already shit his pants at TRS, and he think we supposed to forget about it and treat him as if he's a new caller, and it just ain't gonna happen. So what he does is when his frailties show up, somebody addresses it. Now you got, this nigga wigging out, crashing out for 30, 40 minutes, just by the end, everybody done hung up, and we'll rather you listen to silence. We do this, Tyrone. We do this. That line will be in silence for an hour, 2 hours before somebody else comes on and starts up another conversation. That's the way we get down sometimes. We don't need no jabronis to be talking 24/7.
Yeah,
that's we ain't never got down like that. It sometimes. I remember back in the day, as soon as the show would go off for the regular night at 9 or 10 or 12, the line would be silent for a couple of hours before people come on and start talking. Right, so that ain't nothing unusual, right? So to have dead air is nothing unusual, but what has always been a good reason to call in is because the lines are open. You can speak, so you will be heard. And if you're an adult, you know how to have a conversation. You'll let somebody speak, and then you'll speak. And even if you cut somebody off, you eventually know, let me shut the fuck up. Let's not break this up. Let's not destroy what we got going. So anybody doing other than that purposely wants to fuck the show up.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I disconnected with that man, and I can't deal with him no more. What's up, sister? Nobody.
Hey, what's up, Tyrone? How you doing?
Peace,
How y'all
peace,
doing?
sister.
All right,
Nobody.
all right, all right.
Nobody.
Hey, I'm kind of upset.
What's up, girl?
I'm kind of upset with y'all.
Yeah, get it together,
Because
nobody. You need to host. I tried to save you, nobody. I tried to save you.
Nigga, you threw her under the
no,
bus,
I'm
nigga.
fine.
You
I'm
threw
fine
her
with
under
all
the
of
bus,
that.
Let
nigga.
her talk. Let her talk. Go ahead.
Miss Lady was fine talking with all facts for months until he started last week going at her because they had a disagreement. And for a whole week, he's been going at her. Now she want to come here on your platform while you sick and give you all the show is getting smaller and smaller. When for months she's been talking to this guy. For months. I'm kind of upset about that. I mean, because when I was attacking him with Mama's Boy, and then I said, why am I doing that? For what? Because obviously he want to talk, just like everybody else want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
They only get upset with him when they're on his radar because they done said some foul stuff out their mouth.
All right. Well, I mean, you know how I do. You know that stuff ain't controlled over there, really. You know, they just come on there. I can't do nothing about it.
How you doing, Tyrone? Since I'm on trial, can a black man in America defend himself?
Hey, well, how
But
you
Tyrone
doing?
is sick. I don't even know why y'all messing with Tyrone right now with all of this BS.
I know. I don't know why either. Tyrone, you haven't heard me a while. Let me defend myself. And Alisa had to get off because I can't believe Miss Lady brought this to your show. And I told them, Tyrone heard me on the line, and when Gary was trying to do the show and you had to interrupt that show, you heard me on the line. I said, if Tyrone really wanted me not to call in, he would have said, all facts don't call in, but Tyrone told y'all he really don't give a fuck after the hours. Watch this real quick, because they're assassinating a black man and they're lying. Before I even came back, Tyrone, Mama's Boy cussed another man's wife out. They already broke the rules. Joe talking about going back to the old times. We was cussing each other out all we want, so I don't know what he's talking about. I was one of the first around here. This man talking about I interrupt, I disrespect the show. Mama's Boy cussed another man's mouth out on your line and did it twice and brag about it. And
we'll do it again. And we'll do it the fuck again.
Listen to me. Let me finish. Let me finish. If they're talking about me, they're going to kick off Sarge because Sarge do the same thing. Tyrone, I'm going to tell you where this thing happened with me and Miss Lady. She's a liar because she accused, you know how like I call myself the ghetto boy. She accused me of not having a casual conversations like he told you last night, tonight. She came, told me to pull up videos about an Asian group. We listened to her music, casual conversation, everything was nice. But when you disagree with her on a particular topic, especially when it's about heterosexual relationships, she zaps out like a narcissist. And then she spaz out and she starts demeaning your character. That's what she does. So I told her, well, if you saying I can't have a cordial conversation, that's a lie. For weeks, we have a conversation about something that I don't like. We laughed and joked about it. And then, I brought up that when she was on this line years ago, she stated she dated an Asian man. That's why I had a cordial conversation with her. Once I brought that on the open line, that's why she feels so deep and mad that she wants to call the police on me and have me off the open line. And let me finish with this, brother. Nobody is on there. Me and Nobody had an hour and a half conversation with me and Nobody about a topic. We did not argue. And the way I talk, I use profanity, but I normally don't call nobody no names directly. When Sarge comes on there, you know how we get. It's the old fashioned. What these people are doing is assassinating my character. They don't like my style. And when I'm not there, I was away for almost 4 years, Tyrone. I guarantee you, wives got cussed out. People got called bees all night when all facts wasn't around. That
Somebody
is a
trying to
fact.
stop
When
him
I
from
leave
talking.
again, I guarantee you, Sarge is going to interrupt people. Somebody's wife going to get cussed out.
You
They're going to
called
talk
Mrs.
about
Lady a
Anthony.
bitch last
And
night, nigga.
I am nowhere around. So watch this. Someone's cutting me off because
Yeah,
they
somebody
don't like
trying to
the
stop him
truth
from talking.
about them. So Tyrone, I told them, if Tyrone, you can say tonight, I swear to God, and nobody, they lied on me, but if you want me not to call the line anytime no more, say it right now, and this black man from Northeast West Baltimore will not talk to nobody ever again. That's all you got to say, and I'll leave him alone. Because I ain't breaking no rules. Miss Lady called the police on me tonight because her feelings is hurt because I checked her. I checked her verbally. Miss Lawyer. She says she has a lawyer degree, but she cannot debate us on any topic. So I'm just here to call. If you don't want me to call Tyrone, say all facts, my brother, don't call no more, and it's over. I'm done.
Okay. I heard enough. Listen, I'm gonna say it so everybody can hear it. All facts. I don't want you to call no more. I said it. I don't want you to call in the overtime. I don't want you to call during the week. I don't want you to call no more. I've moved on past all of this drama. I ain't got time to continue to do whatever this is. This is not. I don't do conflict management well anymore. You know, so I said it. Everybody heard me say it. I'm glad you called in so I can say it. So I said it. I just don't, because I'm not gonna besmirch your character right now. So you asked me to give you guidance on what to do. I just did it. Everybody on the line heard me say it. So I hope you honor that. So that's all I got to say about it. So I'm glad that we got that straight. So everybody heard it. Okay? I don't know. So that's it.
Oh, Lord. Thank you for that. And I never said 5 years ago that I dated an Asian man. He's on this obsessive thing with me and Asian men. I don't understand it.
Miss Lady, it is done. It is over with.
Huh?
So we don't even need to go there.
All right. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he had going on with y'all. Y'all described it to me, but I know that with our past dealings, I mean, I can't. There was a lot of stuff that went on, and you know, that's just me. So blame Tyrone. Tyrone said it.
Thank you, Tyrone.
No, ain't no problem. I mean, see, he said he wanted.
Hey, I don't think you got to take the blame. No, I'll take the damn blame. But
no, ain't no big deal. Ain't no big deal.
Ain't no big deal with me either. That's why I'll take the blame. Because there's another nigga out there whose hands ain't clean. There's another nigga still roaming around
you talking about
out there. Yeah. Little old nigga. Little old bitty nigga. It's cool, though. I mean, Tyrone, I think it's I don't know. It's just it's the stupidest shit for a nigga to bite the hand that feeds him all the time. It's crazy. It's like, this is just my personal opinion. Since I'm that dumb nigga, right? I'm gonna say some dumb shit then. You know, first is your YouTube, right? Fucking with this nigga. And it ain't like the nigga is cheerleading for TRS on his show. It's like he taking a dump on TRS. His whole entire 4, 5, 6 hours or whatever. Whatever he's doing is against TRS. Guaranteed. But then you go and get some dumb niggas to try to disrupt the motherfucking programming over here. Because you feel some type of way about motherfuckers not really believing the weak pussy nigga you are. And that's just the way I feel about it. That's ABC to me. Yeah, I know you grant him his show and everything for Saturday. It's content. I get it. I ain't no hater. But I'm just spitting it for real. The nigga is all pussy, and he's doing white boy shit over here. And tonight is a great indicator of what's to come, what more is to show up. I wouldn't be surprised if nigga ain't got Alquan tiptoeing around in the dark. I mean, god damn, if you want to tear Tyrone's show down, nigga, just grab your nuts, come on to the show and throw down. Stop all this damn around the corner, behind the scenes shit that ain't working. Fake ass nigga. Sorry, Tyrone. Peace,
No,
fam.
you good. I mean, I'm glad he asked for guidance on what my opinion was, and I had a chance to tell him. So that's fair. So now, it is what it is. Hopefully, it's.
I will say this, Tyrone. I will say this. It is a day of celebration because this further pushes sucker ass nigga free 2026. This further pushes forward sucker ass free 2026.
Whew. All right, well, it's past my bedtime, y'all. Y'all done fed me a lot of drama tonight. We couldn't talk about Trump and him being a pedophile, but it's all good. But I am gonna do like I normally do. I'm gonna open the lines and I'm gonna shut YouTube down. So if y'all on YouTube, y'all can call in here. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace, Tyrone. Thank you.
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
Oh, Lord. Well,